All right.
Yo, what's up, everybody? You got the three co-founders of LILA Games, myself, Joe Kim, Paul Leydon, and Avinash Pandey. But, sorry, Avinash. So today, what we decided to do is actually talk about this new game trailer that came out from Lilith Studios. Lilith, as many of us know, are the guys behind
Rise of Kingdom.
Rise of Kingdoms, also AFK Arena, and they actually are an incredible studio. I got the chance to meet them way early on when they launched their first game, Dota Legends. I was actually the guy that brought that to the attention of FunPlus, and then we actually published Dota Legends in Southeast Asia. But they are a really, really talented studio, and their new shooter game was announced, Farlight 84. And so what we wanted to do is, since we're working on a shooter, we know shooters, we thought we'd go through the trailer. Paul's actually kind of broken it down a bit. And so he's going to talk about what he sees from the trailer, and we're going to give some of our thoughts. And by the way, there was a Pocket Gamer article that also came out about the game, and it was kind of funny because everything we predicted, right? It was all right on. So we actually predicted everything right in terms of like, it was going to be cross-platform, 40 to 50 player kind of battle royale, things of that nature. But Paul, why don't you take over and we can actually go through some of the trailer together.
Good luck, Capsuler.
Few things we see in terms of art style, like I would say, to me, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Apex Legends. Paul?
Yeah. Apex Legends, Fortnite.
Yeah. So people are being shot through capsules.
Yeah, these capsules here.
Hey,
I remember this place.
Jetpacks, vehicles. So what do you guys think in terms of, like, if you want to pause right there? So from what we've seen so far, a couple of key differentiators that we're already seeing is, one, the polish in terms of the art's quality, the art style seems very high. It seems to have a focus on really fast action, speed, jetpacks, vehicles. And so likely there's going to be more of a focus in terms of that. That's what they seem to be keying off of. And in terms of like what we're seeing so far, Avinash, what do you think? So we know it's going to be cross-platform. Do you think they'll be able to achieve this quality on mobile?
So definitely this is a pre-rendered video. So this is not from game. This is not from game engine because you don't see any controls here. So if it was a gameplay, you would see joystick or some sort of controls. And the level of quality which is here is very hard to achieve, especially on mobile devices. So I'm very sure this is pre-rendered in After Effects or something else, because the way shots are taken, this is not this doesn't seem like from a build. In terms of quality, like if you look at just one frame, and I was thinking about like the budget of graphics. So every vehicle or every character you see, they are like, I'm very sure like a million poly or something like that. But in a mobile game, the poly budget, even if you really optimize it, it would be around 200K or 400K per frame. So that's very hard to achieve. So I think it will be really interesting to see what they are able to achieve on iOS and Android. But this is definitely a pre-rendered shots, all of these.
All right. Looks fantastic, though.
That looks really good. So here's where we start to get into gameplay, supposedly. They make a quick little disclosure. Still under development.
Yeah.
Looks like we have a world space.
Yeah.
Arena, kind of.
Some little place to mingle.
This is also the lobby.
Like a lobby.
A little bit of cyberpunk art as well as the Apex. And Fortnite, as you were saying.
Some kind of charger jetpack station. Probably classes, that's what we were talking about before.
So Paul, when you see that rocket, do you think the rocket just indicates you're getting shot into a battle royale, or did you see any other?
You know, I have a breakdown of it right behind this video, a whole wall of it, and I point out the rocket like maybe like 5 or 6 times. They show the rocket,
Right.
and especially towards the end of this video, they really show it.
Yeah.
And it ends with the rocket taking off, which we'll see. And the only thing that I can think about it is it's strange to think about because I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but it's potentially the way that you leave Battle Royale.
Okay.
This gun right here is really busy, to say the least. It is insane. You know, when I looked at this gun, I was like, holy crap, what is going on? I mean, this is really high fantasy, right? Even these guns here, you know, this like steampunk-ish, you got your AR, your RPG, possibly SMG, or maybe shotgun. It's probably SMG because it has a scope on it. Some gameplay here, potentially.
This part seems like to be taken from the game.
Second.
The previous part seems like it's taken from the game.
It seems like it. It seems like it. Yeah. I think it is. I have some thoughts on that. Some world, customized car. It's almost done here. Rocket again. Oh snap, huge buildup. And then boom.
So with that boss, it seems like they might also include a PvE campaign.
Yeah, but that's actually not uncommon, you know. I actually, here, I could just, with this, you guys can see my screen?
Yeah, we can do it.
We could jump around, but, you know, just what you're talking about, that boss, right? So I can just zoom into that real quick. I mean, but the boss is not really uncommon in as far as like Call of Duty Mobile. They have bosses as well in like the Battle Royale mode. So you can see there's like this boss here, or like this wolf boss. You know, when I started to try to think about this product, you know, I broke this thing down a lot. So we could talk about this. I'll skim through it. I got every screenshot frame by frame, and I analyzed it bit by bit. But it really started for me when I looked at the socials, because the socials says the one social that really made me think about stuff was the 1, 2, 3, 4 social here. It says big 4 weapon labels, multi-legged vehicles and colorful jetpacks, unique energy system, build your paradise, and customize weapons. And so this was that was like probably the 4 biggest things that kind of made me understand like the rest of the video a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I don't this whole thing in the back of their neck, I actually think this is a part of the energy system, because it starts off with this thing on the neck, right? And then they jump in their capsule. Their capsules are customizable. You see 4 different capsules, a red one, an orange one, a blue duck one. And it's kind of friendly, and it's like amusement park. Like when he goes, enjoy the ride. So it's kind of like, you know, it's not so PUBG that it's like, you know, shoot your head off, and it's not so Fortnite that it's like not, you know, not loud and explosive. And here's them about to get shot off. And this is when they say your own paradise. This is the big deal. When I was talking to you, Joseph, I think that this is the paradise that they talk about, because you see people running into the cannon shooter. So this is where they shoot the capsules out of. And I have this line here that kind of draws out to say, you know, this isn't really new. In Fortnite, this is called Party Royale.
Yeah.
So this button here, you press it, you go in and you jump into an area where you can dance and hang out with people. There's a lot of people running around. Also in Call of Duty Mobile, there was a button for a while called Club. It was located here. You go in, you run around, and you can converse with NPCs and also play an arcade. And same thing with PUBG. They had a place called Cheer Park where you can run around and then drive cars and stuff like that. And so later on in the video, when the character's running around, walking around, there's like NPCs, this additional cars. I really think that this paradise is that. I think it's a persistent club, a persistent party royale, or a persistent cheer park of PUBG. So
Or an alliance, or do you think it's a little bit more broader?
For a community, because if it was an alliance, I think they'd probably have more hints of like clothing that looks alike, like everyone would be dressed in a green or dressed in a red, because usually alliances dress the same color or fly the same flag. And if it was more alliance based, they would probably have like alliance symbols all over the place and kind of promote that. So I think it's just maybe they call it a spawn island in Fortnite, where you go before the battle royale. So it's kind of like a persistent spawn island. This is where their delivery of the game is really unique. They shoot you in a capsule towards the mass, right? You get shot out, and you fly through the air. Here's your capsule. You crash into the ground. It shows the rocket. The guy kicks open the thing, and it shows bombs dropping. Right? Players come in and drop into this game. And about the game's prop density, it felt really high. Like Avinash was saying, this is definitely really hard to achieve, and we see that in the later demo after the black screen, how it says, "Hey, look, this is under development." There's some gunfights in this that show. Here's a gunfight. This is a gunfight in the game. You can really see like the bushes, the low poly here, Avinash. You could feel like it feels more like a PUBG in that sense. A few bushes, a few flowers. You see what I'm saying? Bounce pads all over the place.
This seems like from the game.
It seems like from the game for sure. So I could see they're going to have squads. They're promoting squads a lot. There's potentially new mechanics, like they have this guy sliding over a box. This is really like, I don't know if that's a thing you can do, but if you can do that, it's Call of Duty has like a special slide. So they may have sliding. I don't know for sure. Custom trails. That is definitely apparent because they have this rainbow. And here you have custom trails. Custom trails have been around for a long time. This is a Super Stickman Golf custom rainbow trail in a mobile game, Super Stickman Golf. Is this too much depth, guys? Want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
All right, cool. So they say they have vehicles, and they're not kidding, right? And I thought the vehicles were shooting some of the times, but this is actually a launcher. This is a class shooting a grenade launcher. And this is, again, the rocket. A lot of the scenes, they show people going towards the rocket. And even some of the final scenes, they're fighting near the rocket. So I was kind of thinking, maybe the rocket is the thing you need to go towards as the map is ending. I'm not sure. Right here, we paused it and we started to talk about the game a little bit. But right here, right after that scene, the guy turns on his gun. So he goes, doom, and then he blasts the girl away. And I think maybe there's boosts. So Call of Duty has these kind of boosts. They like recharge and you can use them frequently as they charge. I don't know if this is the energy mechanic, but I would guess that their guns have the normal gun mode and then the charge boost mode where you can go like flamethrower or something like that. And when he blasts her away, I was curious about this shoe. So she's actually a pizza delivery girl. And I know this because of what they said in here, right? They say she's a pizza girl, and in the Twitter thing. So I deliver the fastest food and bullets, and that's her theme. So she's taking the theme of being like a fast character. So I thought that was really like Sonic of them, and they definitely didn't disappoint because look at her shoe, right? Her shoe looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog shoe. very modern. And I wondered about the customization. Like, why would they show a shoe? And throughout the game, there's different variants of that pizza girl, dressed in black, dressed in brown, dressed in white. But I'm not sure what level of customization they have. And I broke out this image as an example. Like, do they do shoes? Do they do pants? Do they do tops? Do they do hair? That would be very PUBG of them. But because the characters are so one-bodied,
Yeah.
I would probably suspect that they don't do full, like, unique customization too much. Like, you can do shoe, but it made me wonder on that particular thing.
I think one thing that we had guessed even before the Pocket Gamer thing came out was that they would have some notion of roles or classes, and it sounds like that Pocket Gamer kind of confirmed that. But I guess I would wonder, like, because of their background, coming from sort of the Chinese MMO culture. The question is, well, are they going to go more Apex Legends where, one, we already know this is more investable. You're investing in, whether it's vehicles or your home or whatever, but also, are you going to be able to, big question for me, are you going to be able to invest in your class? How investable is it? How much progression will there be, if any? But even from here, it's more investable than a Fortnite. I mean, you've got a notion of classes in Call of Duty Mobile as well, but I think that my suspicion would be that they're going to actually make this a lot more investable in terms of the roles.
Yeah. Nothing in this particular video indicates that they would for me.
Yeah, no. I'm guessing just based upon who they are and their culture and where they come from.
Yeah, playing Rogue Company with roles.
Yeah.
They do it so, like, you invest in your character every match. So as you earn dollars or whatever the currency is, you can increase your set per game. But to persist that, to like start in the game with
right
earned, it's like a whole different genre, right? And so if you could have the investment where you're keeping your progression against your class post game and then start game with that kind of stuff would be pretty cool. I mean, it would be tough. It'd be a tough move. Like the blend of cute and fun plus I've been playing this game for 9 months. Watch out. You know what I'm saying? Which would be crazy cool.
Yeah. And I think this is also going to be a tension between the Western audience, who is generally viewed as wanting fair to play, not pay to win, versus if you do have something that's more investable, then, where do you draw the line? There's a fine line, I think, for the Western audience in terms of fair to play versus pay to win. So that'll be an exciting part to see how they solve that, manage that part of the game.
Yeah.
But clearly, this is going to be able to monetize a lot more than like a Fortnite or Call of Duty Mobile right off the bat in terms of like some of the design concepts that they seem to be introducing.
Yeah, potentially with the vehicles. I mean, it just kind of comes down to like the level of customization that is desirable, right? I feel like you could sell anything in these games, it feels like these days. And this next screen is actually a really good indication of that. Like, I wonder if they'll have these customizable launchers. Like, you guys know, I'm a huge, I make fun of the fact that they have custom grenade skins in Call of Duty. I mean, it's so fast. Like, literally when the person is playing Call of Duty and they throw the grenade, you cannot see it in your hand and you can barely see it in the sky if you pause it and zoom in. But buying grenade skins and changing your grenade skin is a thing that they do because they want to put customization on anything that has value, right? The trails, the shoes. So when I saw this, I thought, okay, now we're kind of going Call of Duty here, where they're going to put skins on things you can't even see. I'll tell you right now, you're not going to be able to see the front of your launcher when you shoot it out of your gun, but they may try to sell you a customizable skin for that just because, well, they'll have to, because they need to have content in some kind of cadence, right? This squad gunner, Joseph, I want to talk to you about this. You taught me about these two things. The strange attractor and the giant spider. What is that? Tell me about those.
Well, a strange attractor just means that in any game you want something that's kind of, something that people are familiar with, something familiar plus something new or novel. And so by mixing those two, that's what creates interest. This is an old Hollywood formula in terms of how movie people try to come up with a concept that attracts people for movies. And the giant spider is just like this in Wild Wild West, like I forgot the name of the famous Hollywood producer who was just intent on putting like a big ass spider in a movie, and he wound up doing it in Wild Wild West. Even though it made no sense at all, but I guess they have a giant spider type of vehicle in here.
Yeah, so the director was like, we need a giant spider in this thing, right? No matter what, because that's what people want to see, and it just makes no sense. So when I saw this, I couldn't help to laugh because you've been talking about that forever. I wonder if this is their strange attractor and giant spider at the same time, because it's really a legged vehicle, right? And they say that in one of their first Twitter posts, saying we have legged vehicles, right? Like this is going to be interesting. And what's crazy is that the damn thing actually jumps. They show it jump and dodge the incoming, missile, and then land up top, and it has a squad gunner on top. Now, it depends on who would be watching this video, but anyone who's played a game where you're driving in a car or in a helicopter, it sucks to get shot while you're driving, right? So having 4 guys in one tank with their heads popping out the top while you're playing a battle royale type game, this is vulnerable, but all of them have their unique guns and they're just blasting away. It's kind of like Twisted Metal in a way. You guys remember that game?
Bit, yeah, the car game, right?
Yeah, it's a car game for PlayStation where you're just riding around. Did you guys get Twisted Metal in India, Avinash?
I'm not aware of it,
Not
but
aware.
I have seen this kind of robot in Free Fire also. So it's like a single player robot which you can walk. It walks really slow, but you can jump and those kind of actions you can do. Yeah.
Well, here's where things get really good, guys. So it goes into this dark moment where it's like, and they let this sit for a few seconds. They didn't play around with this. It wasn't like a flash. They're like, game is still under development. Footage does not represent final quality. And it starts off with this really sexy scene. But what was interesting was this pelican sound. And if I freezed it right, well, here we go. I'm gonna play it again. Just watch. That's a pelican sound, right? That is the sound of the ocean too. So if we go back up here, and then also there's day and night cycles. So this is a night scene, okay? This is a night scene of the launcher. So this is where I thought, I didn't really fully read the Pocket Gamer stuff, but if they're having day and night cycles, that's really special. I mean, it's a little bit more to handle for the game, but it creates all kinds of new possibilities, right? Like different missions, different parties. People want to come to the dance club, and I'm pretty sure because if I just go up here and show you this one, same thing, right? It's daytime. So unless they're, Avinash, what do you think? Do you think they would go through all the trouble to make a night scene just for the video, even if it was 3D and all this animating and stuff like that? Or do you think there's potentially that the night scene would be something a part of the game that they would actually go for? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it will definitely have a toll on the performance because there are a couple of ways of achieving it. One is like you have real-time lighting in your game, which is like very, very expensive. So I'm not sure whether they will have that inside the game because the gameplay seems like it is in day, and this social part, which is where players are hanging out, that's where I'm seeing day and night. So it could be only this part has day and night cycle to make social interactions more interesting, but the gameplay is having same only in the day. And this also plays into strategy. So like if you are playing a shooter game in dark, what about players who are inside the house? Then how do you manage the lighting inside the house so that you can see those players? So there are lots of challenges, and pulling off day and night on mobile is even more challenging. So I'm eager to see if they are able to do it, whether you baked light or something like that.
Me too. Me too. And so I think you're right, actually. I forgot about that. Could they do daytime in the Battle Royale area if they're doing it here? My guess is no. You're right. I think you're right. So it's really friendly. Everyone's welcoming you in, and it's very sexy. In this scene right here, they wanted this scene to make it look like it was gameplay. And I really want to believe it too. Okay, so the camera's to the left. So if this is a render of the game, this is not the appropriate camera view for walking your character around. And watch what happens after this. So here, a little thing turns above his head. So he's an NPC, like come talk to me, which is the same thing in Call of Duty's Club, which I showed you. They have NPCs there. A lover boy here on her right notices how pretty she is, and he gets so love drunk that he tries to lean against the pole and he falls. So this is all staged, right? And if this was a real game, this would be like the opening scene of you walking in. And they could do like variances of that, but it would be really expensive to do that every single time. Also, notice in the left-hand corner, they have an arcade. And they have an arcade also in the club of Call of Duty Mobile. You can go up to an arcade cabinet and play like a little mini game while you're in there. I mean, anything to keep the user in, you know, and this stuff's really hard to justify. Like if I were to talk to even our investors, like, hey, I want to introduce a little pool game. They'd be like, really? Is it the pool game that's going to keep the user? Is it the little arcade game? What's it going to be that keeps the user in? So they're going to have an arcade in this thing for sure. And this guy does this lookout here, and I analyzed this lookout. So the NPC conversation. Oh yeah, she does a really shy wave. So, you know, to build that kind of personality into the character while they walk, like, hi, I think it's really tough. So I definitely don't think that's a part of the game. And then this guy goes and looks out. And I wondered about this view. Like, if this is the view, then it can't be that big. Like, it just can't be, because this would be like GTA 5 big. It would be a huge city. So I imagine that this line would probably be the city limits, and there's no way you'd be able to drive down this street. I can't figure out this particular part of the world, because, you know, as much as I've looked at it, when I look at, you know, the launcher and then this town back here, maybe he's over there, but I was trying to figure out where is he in this area. And so I don't know how big this place is. I was really curious about it. It goes into custom jetpacks. I'm not sure what these are. These look important though. I think they're just jumper pads. So they have like these jumper pads. And a little bit about the recharge station. Well, this is definitely not final stuff. I'd be really surprised if this was final stuff. Let's watch a little bit more. Jetpack. So they show jetpacks and then they give you the jetpack. And then she's running to see it. So again, with the weird angle, like it looked right, it looked left, it's possible. She kicks it. Boom. So she's all charged up. So the problem with charging on these things is that if you're staying still, you're going to get shot. So even in PUBG Mobile, people do like AWDS, so they kind of move around while they're looting someone's box. Because if they're staying still so much, they're going to get shot. So in order to help this fiction out, they invented that electrical wire. And I drew a circle here to kind of show you what I mean by that. So as soon as you leave this circle, you break free from your jetpack charge, and you have that ability to kind of scoot around and roam around because you're like doing footwork to juke anybody that's going to be sniping you from these rooftops or something like that. So that's basically their recharge system. And Joseph, when you asked me about that, the launcher, this part of the video is where it really kind of shows the launcher the most. So he starts this thing up. It charges it up. She's hitting this thing. She starts doing the the computer, and then it's off with this thing. Boom. And then it shows all this, like all these indicators that it's launching into the sky. It shows the classes, and I actually think I figured the classes out a little bit. So this is the mascot, but I think it's the defender. So it shows the mascot behind this wall, which is a class in Call of Duty where you put down a wall. You can place a wall in front of you in the appropriate areas. Yeah. So I think it's a defender, and I think this is RPG because, well, it's like a gun slinging. It's really crazy looking if you really pause it and look at it. It's got like a cookie in a bag for a hat. I don't know what's going on, dude. It's a box-headed robot. And then it starts blazing its guns down here, all angry. So yeah, I think I figured that much out for the classes. In this gameplay, this is probably some of the first good gameplay right here, which we'll show in a video. But this is all hipfire. Now, I was really curious about the hipfire /scope because in Fortnite, the only time you can really go down scope, if I'm correct about this still, is when you go down a sniper. You cannot scope down an assault rifle. And so a game that has hipfire and scope, the way that they're doing it is more like Rogue Company. So Rogue Company has different classes where some can look down a scope and some cannot. And then they have these burst moves where they all of a sudden burst left and burst right. And we can go ahead and just switch over and I'll show you right now. Boom. So burst left, burst back. You see the car in the background, the jump pads. This must be the player's name. We actually do get a player name here coming up in a second. The first player name in the whole game. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. It comes up. So he bursts up, bursts left. They have bridges in the game, which is totally PUBG. PUBG has these bridges where you're like, there's sniper heaven. And you have to cross them to get to the next side because it's separated by bodies of water. So the map size is pretty big. They'll have to have rivers inside this thing. And this is where we get the first aim down sight. And I think this is the aim down sight class. I don't think every gun is aim down sight. And another thing that we get that's really subtle, Joseph, to check it out, this blue thing. So you see it when you're watching it, just so subtly. It's a firefight, boom, and it had that quick break.
Yeah.
That's a shield. That must be a shield break. So they probably have two different types of thing, health and shield. And the rest is really Fortnite. This is like traditional Fortnite gameplay right here. Hip fire, and the only aim down you have is just really close to the back of your head. It's just like right in the back of your head. So they're a mix between aim down sight and hip fire, Fortnite style. And that is Rogue Company at its finest, in my opinion. A lot of jetpack chargers all over the place. So big roads, lots of roads.
Yeah. And talking about the gameplay, Avinash, like, you know, we did kind of guess that they'd be going battle royale. I think the Pocket Gamer article suggested that they would have up to 40. Now we know also learned that they're using Unreal in terms of the engine. And so certainly on mobile, we'll have higher graphical fidelity. You got to think, just based on some of our netcode conversations, that they're probably going to have to. I don't think they're going to be using Unreal networking out of the box. Could you talk about what your guess is, what they're doing in terms of the netcode?
Yeah, so I think day before yesterday only we were talking about when we first saw the video, we were able to guess that this is built on top of Unreal, because you know you can figure out from the graphic style. In terms of netcode, from my personal research and what I have read so far is that although Fortnite has 100 players built on top of same netcode, it is not public yet. So like even if you are using Unreal netcode, it is not that easy to pull off like 100-player battle royale. So there are ways to do it, but you have to go down, you have to do some engine level changes as well, because you'll be running 100 players on your server. I'm very sure these guys are also using dedicated server architecture where they're running physics on the server side.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the reasons why they have this 40 players limit, and that would influence their label design as well. So that's why when I was looking at their gameplay, you would see at any point of time you don't see very far away. So like there are buildings, there are like really congested label design. So this is also to accommodate 40 players, and I feel like this game has more action as compared to PUBG or this could be very close to Fortnite.
Right.
So that's why they want to have a compact, not a very huge level as PUBG, but a level where 40 players can have more interactions.
I think there's some pretty big views though here, Avinash, not to push back on you just during the video, but you can see here, there's some pretty far views.
Yeah, but if you see that hill, so like even here, you cannot see what's behind that hill. So of course they will have some open areas and they will have some city areas.
Okay.
But even in open areas, you would have a landscape, like there will be hills, mountains, and this is still a trailer. So the label design might also change for mobile devices. So
Sure.
like, you have to make sure that this same number of players work on iOS, Android. I'm still not sure whether this is going to be a cross play. Like, can you play from iOS?
Yeah, that was confirmed by Pocket Gamer, so we were right.
It means like you are going to have same level, same number of players across all these platforms.
Well, that part we're not sure about. We know it's going to run on multiple platforms, whether they all cross play or whether it's the same limitations on each. That part has not been confirmed. So
I think it won't make sense to put PC players against mobile players, because
right.
the difference between mouse and touch like really huge.
Yeah.
And also like I'm very sure that there will be lots of challenges in terms of engine and netcode on mobile devices. So it's not only the performance needed to render things, but you have a lot of other things going inside the gameplay.
So,
So
Avinash, one of the other things that we know is that this is a team of over 100 people, right? That's just kind of word on the street that we have learned, and the company that's listed as the publisher of this game is called Miracle Games, based in Singapore. If I did a little bit of research and found that Miracle Games was actually incorporated in Singapore in August, but they must have been working on this game for a while. And in fact, I know that because someone from the team messaged me in April. Anyway, I won't go into that too much, but how long do you think this team's been working? Like, what kind of an effort is? I actually know the budget for this game as well, but I won't mention that. But how long do you think this company has been working on this game, and how much longer would you just? I mean, of course, it's a guess, just based upon kind of really rough estimates. But what do you think?
I mean, from this trailer, it's very hard to guess. It completely depends on were they only working on the trailer part. So if you look at this trailer, what you need to make this trailer, you need all the graphics, and that too high level graphics. So all characters, all environment, props, guns, these are all high poly models.
Yeah.
So when you design a game, so you could go this route. You make all the assets in high quality, then you start working on the promo at the same time you are working on the game, and then you have another version of your assets which is like
Right.
on the engine. So in terms of this trailer, I see like most of it is actually pre-rendered. It is done on some rendering software. So even if we just remove the complete gameplay, like if, for example, they were not working on the game, they were just working on the trailer, I'm very sure for this level of detail, it will take at least 4 to 8 months, like to pull off something. I'm considering like building all these models, all these environment props, everything from scratch. So they have been working on, I'm sure they have been working on it for a long time.
Right.
Check it out. I have some insight here.
Okay.
This is actually the first player name that we see, and I think this is kind of an accident because most of the guys are named 1284, something like that. And
Right.
when I saw this, I thought this is actually the game, because why would they do that in the trailer? So, for example, here. Also, these bullet streams are really nice. If these are part of the game, this might be just a little bit too information. Tell me if I have too much details, guys. Here.
Yeah, go for it. That's what people are watching for. They want to know about the details.
Yeah, well, this like I've paused every single game that I could find. It's just a shooter game in like mid shoot, and I just think that they did a really good job with their bullet streams and bullet fire. It seems kind of trivial, but I like the color. It's a really nice orange, and they have a really good smoke trail on those bullets. You can really see what's happening. It feels alive. And this one, I found an issue. Look, guys, I found an issue. So this is weird. The girl's holding nothing, right? So this is a rig issue, but here I actually know what's going on, and this is a strange observation. So she is holding the gun of a different character. I'm pretty sure of it. And that's actually the pizza girl. And if they are classes, then this is the wrong gun in the wrong hands. I may be right about this. Now, I can't say for sure because, and also look, the gun's stuffed right in front of her face. Right, it's too close, so it's like a rig issue or some kind of gun issue. And this is real. This is the real shooting of this player. This is the real driving of the player. I'm pretty sure because when the car drives by into Eris Ranch, it's still going into this ranch, and it just got done crashing through the wall, and they're still shooting the same car. They said, we're going to drive the car into the ranch. We're all going to shoot it together. And this scene coming up next is where I thought maybe this is the appropriate gun for her. You see how it has this thing in her hand?
Yeah.
So I think that's her class gun. And then that made me kind of think like they may be thinking about some strange design decisions. Like in Rogue Company, I do think it's possible to pick up your gun if it's not my class. So it's kind of weird if that is true. Like I could pick. Yeah. Actually, you can in Rogue Company. Because I remember one time picking up a gun, going, "Holy crap! This gun is it's God mode, right?" And so I think that they're having trouble with right now getting gun changing throughout each character. But I think you can pick up other people's guns. which is, I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know what other games are like that, but in a class-based system, it's sort of, I don't know if this is a new thing. It seems like a new trend. They do it in Rogue Company at least, and I'm a big fan of Rogue Company. So this is like a battle royale Rogue Company in my opinion. Oh yeah, and I found this bug which I was showing you guys before we turn on the video. This one little thing here. What is that? Who out there knows what this is? You know, what is this? So I'll show you. This is what is it?
It's a screen, yeah, maybe a screen recorder.
It's a screen recorder.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? But it has a pen tool. But it's the only time it's in here, and it's just right here in a second. Watch. He shoots the car. She takes a shot. Here it is, right here, top left. And then it's gone, right? This was also kind of bogus. So if you look at this kind of guy, not that it's bogus, but they're trying their best. This is the crosshairs for a launcher, the down, 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 because you use that to gauge the drop of a bullet. And they also show that bullet having dropped in the beginning when they're doing a lot of road chasing. But in this particular shot, he just nails that person. And I thought that's these crosshairs are all placeholder. And they're the same one, this XO880X is what you kind of see her using it down here, this XO880X in the blue version. Then right here is kind of like brown or something. But watch this. He just like blasts him away. He's just like, boom, done. Super straight shot. So this looks like a launcher, or is this a sniper? So he sniped that guy right there, headed right towards that circle thing. Boom. So I think these circle things are either launcher pads or maybe even exit pads, like exiting the map. I can't figure it out. I really, really wonder what it is. But that circle seems to be a big deal. Moving forward, this was actually a pretty good part of the trailer that needs to be spoken about. I think it needs to be understood because it could be misunderstood. So let me turn the. So it's building this thing, right? It's like it kind of gives the illusion that you build it, like build your own world, right? But I don't think that's what it is. And one thing that I noticed here is that it says rebooting system files left. So it's a computer theme. If this is in the game, it may be the way it looks when you load the game. You see what I'm saying? It may just like build the world in real time. It's hard to tell because they also have lingo in the socials that remind me of Survivor games because I'm a big fan of Survivor games. And they say things like, dear survivors, right? Dear survivors. So they're kind of painting this world like you've survived, you know, and they even talk about the wasteland, right? The wasteland. So I'm a little confused about the theme, to be honest, especially with this scene of it building and they're like, hey, this is a rebooting system. What is that? What do they mean by that? But this is definitely a social hub where you drive your car, and this is where they get into interactable objects like a pool game, which would be really expensive. You know, creating a pool game within your game, it's insane, right? It just like adds so much time to the budget.
So you think that's an actual game rather than just a prop?
It could be. I mean, she starts clapping for him like, hey, good shot. And he's like, oh man. So they're saying that there's gonna be social aspects, but having a full-on pool game in your game, it's like it's hard to justify.
It's like more of a prop. But
It's a prop. It could be because, you know, I thought it's a prop for here. I thought this is an interactable decor. Like you can go and do push-ups. Like you can just go up to something and press interact and you do it. You could do this back in GTA, right? GTA, you could exercise. Then the hero shot of the garage, it opens up the garage and then it shows like this awesome moment where he looks at the vehicles. And there was some interesting things about this shot that I thought was kind of interesting here, man. It says zombies. Watch out for zombies. So, and Joseph, you had something to say about these cars because of just this menu. What were you saying? You're saying you think it's mobile?
well, I think that's why we initially thought that this was cross-platform because there was only like the three kind of values there, and that to simplify for mobile, they probably want to minimize UI, minimize values, and different factors that you could have. So, but yeah, I mean, it turns out that they are also on mobile, so it makes sense to like be consistent across mobile and PC. But I do think that, I mean, high level, when we think about Farlight, you know, I mean, some of the things that we could take away is that, yeah, there's going to be big focus on action, on vehicles. Vehicles is huge. We saw the crazy ass spider vehicles. We're seeing these vehicles. This seems like it's going to be a lot more investable. Now, whether you purchase or upgrade or just purchase, we don't know. But definitely a big differentiator in terms of having an additional vector of progression against some of the other games out there. So that's great.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing in real time. Well, I thought that it's the fact that it said wait was a big deal for me, because wait is a feature for an equipped system. So when an item has wait, it usually means the player needs to understand that, because it could slow them down. I mean, I have no idea what that means, but no way would I ever make a UI that says wait in it for no reason. But then again, I also think this UI is half done, because having just bars right here is too few of information for the user. Like, it would be nice to know, is this a 4 or a 60 or what? Like, just having bars doesn't say enough, because acceleration, this looks like it would be acceleration is if this is a 10, this would be like a 4.5. This is a 5, and this is a 5. So giving them numbers helps the user, but maybe they're just trying to go with bars. And then they go into shooting range. And the shooting range, the best shooting range out there that I've seen so far was Rogue Company. I took a picture over here. So here's the shooting range in Farlight. Take a look at it. Got a little white symbol, very clean. This is the shooting range in Rogue Company. I blanked out the stream. This is a streamer who was streaming, so I blanked out his face. But he's shooting characters on the ground. Here's a female character with a sniper. So I think the shooting range is an indication of that. And then as we get towards the end here, there's just a few more things. This was totally faked. So the car is driving towards these characters, and then it blows them up. This is definitely not in game, because usually props that you can run over, are like fences, fire hydrants. To be able to run over a squad of 3 who is ducked by cover would be totally OP, because cars would be crashing into everything. So I would be really surprised if a car could take on these kind of props. So I don't think they'll have that kind of prop explosions. This explosion seems totally fake. If you look right here. So I was just curious about that from a game design standpoint. So I was like, damn, are they letting cars just mow down the world like that? I was like, that's kind of crazy. You're like, where do you hide? You know, you're behind like a sandbag, and the guy just runs you down. You're like, shit, this game sucks. They had a lot of racing. Here comes the NPC. I talked a little bit about this with Call of Duty having that as well. So it's not like, not too big. And then it ends it off with the car coming right at you. And then, boom. Farlight, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, high level takeaways. Thanks for looking into all the detail, but it does seem like, I think that Farlight is actually really good for us, right, as a game studio, because one, not only does it up the bar, but I think this is going to get a lot of people to look at, how do you go down the battle royale vector? The more people that go there, the better. Go that way. But I think that when you think about how is Farlight competing in the market, graphical fidelity, battle royale with higher actions per minute, vehicles, investability, and then they're going to have a little bit more social, probably not as social as we're going to be, but they definitely have some notion of that. So that's also very interesting. But I don't know, do you guys have any other kind of concluding thoughts?
I would say that the idea about them being able to monetize more because they have more depth is something that I'm still on the fence about. The reason being is because they're putting a lot of money into classes, a lot of action into classes, but Fortnite can introduce a woman who looks goth and sexy one week, and the next day they'll introduce a guy who looks like a punk rock surfer, and the next week they'll introduce, you know, so on, so on. And that is a lot of control. So when you have a girl who's a pizza delivery girl and that's it for a long time, it becomes hard. There's only so many shades of colors and so many different ways to draw a pizza girl. So in a customizable, you know, in a vanity-based game, if it is all classes, then you know they're going to have to do some real good thinking there. But rogue companies against that too, and they do well. They do well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the obviously one of the key objectives from a monetization perspective, if you have a game, is roster breadth, meaning it makes sense for you to not only have one character, but like, let's say there's 5 classes. Now I own 5 different characters and I'm investing against those characters. So you have roster breadth, roster depth that expands the monetization. This is just for our audience. I mean, you obviously already know that, but you know, the reason why people have always pushed back on this roster breadth depth issue has been mainly because of the Western audience, and the Western audience saying we don't want pay to win. We don't want a lot of progression, and we want fair to play.
Yeah.
Now, the thing though is that even when you look at fair to play games like League of Legends, for example, now we're looking at MOBAs, but there's always been some level of limited progression, right? In League of Legends, that's runes. You've got rune pages, you buy runes, there's progression in the runes, and that's how they monetize against rune pages. And actually, you know, you need to acquire those runes. So I think that's going to be one cool thing to look at, is like how much do they introduce monetization into their game? Yeah. Will Western audiences, you know, how will they react to the monetization schemes that Lilith has? But I will say this, I've got tremendous respect for Lilith. They're one of my favorite mobile game companies. They have clearly done an excellent job, and it'll be really, really exciting to see what they come up with. And for, I'm sure most people have already dropped out. Like, so if anyone's still watching, I will give my one last tip. So I think for anyone left here, that's what you need to be thinking about. You can try to compete against this, or if you're going to compete in another way, how would you do that, right? And so think about the products that are coming to market. Think about how you are building your product and how you can be meaningfully different.
Go ahead, Emma.
Yeah, I just had one thing, like I think they can also fill the gap of Fortnite on Android. So like Fortnite is not there on Android, so we have realistic battle royale games. But I think this could be a unique positioning in terms of the art style and the fast-paced battle royale they have. I just wanted to add that.
All right, well, I think that's it, guys. And bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.